Act 3 of episode Echoes dropped last week, and like usual, I'm hearing some funky God Roll talk here and there, so why don't we go ahead and review each weapon, as well as potential God Rolls for both PvE and PvP. Like Act 2, we only got 3 new legendary weapons, so not too long of a video today overall. Alright, starting off strong, we have the final Season of Dawn weapon that will be returning this episode, Martyr's Retribution. Armed with a rock-solid reworked weapon perk pool and a very useful origin trait, Marty is looking like an appealing option in PvE. It might have some PvP viability, but wave frames in PvP are kinda niche, only useful if you really enjoy the weapon type and get your jollies from making people angry, or if you're extremely good at hot swapping to finish them off with a primary shot. For PvE, we got a lot of options here that will easily fit the player who just wants to put their head down and ad clear like a fiend. Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie are 2 perks that immediately leap out as strong options on paper, and naturally they pair very well together. Demo gives us that sweet 10% nade ability energy on a weapon kill, and then when we get a nade kill, we can get max stacks immediately for that extra 33-ish% damage per shot on Marty's. Another combo worth checking out is one I'm fond of on Zauli and Helio for PvE, Heal Clip and Incandescent. With one shot, you can wipe out and light half the room on fire, all while healing yourself at the same time via Cure ×2 from Heal Clip. Remember that Heal Clip also heals nearby teammates, and even though it's only Cure ×1 for them, it's still better than no cure at all. And again, kinda goes without saying, but Incandescent, a great ad clear perk even in higher end content, which causes proxy scorching after every kill, which is strong on its own but can also synergize with a lot of builds to get some real benefit from the scorch. Shout out to Ember of Ashes, a real G. Alright, really quickly, let's talk about auto-loading holster, which I've been hearing a lot of people arguing about and a lot of players saying, don't get it, it's trash on this gun. The reason you're probably hearing that is due to the origin trait Cast No Shadows. Dealing melee damage increases the weapon's handling and loads a small amount of ammo from reserves. In short, smack an enemy and bam, Marty's will auto-load one right into the chamber. On top of that, you got the artifact mod Saint's Inspiration, which makes it so not only will your melees auto-load one into the mag for Marty, but you can overflow the mag as well. Together, I totally get how these make a pretty strong case for auto-loading holster bad. And yet, I don't agree. After getting in some quality time with Marty, I've come to the conclusion that while Cast No Shadows is damn fine, how frequently you take advantage of it is going to highly depend on your class and your build. For example, Prismatic Hunter with Threaded Spike and Prismatic Titan with Consecration are ungodly easy in terms of being able to proc Cast No Shadows. If your build is relatively melee forward, as many Prismatic Hunter and Titan builds are, I mean, yeah, auto-loading holster would probably be a waste for you. But for those out there rocking non-melee heavy builds, I genuinely feel that auto-loading holster would not only be fine, but actually be a really desirable perk on your Marty. When episode 2 gets here in October, our artifact will reset and we lose access to Saint's Inspiration, which IMO really bumps up the viability of Cast No Shadows. Without it, we're going to be left at just 1 in the mag on a melee, which is still fine, but not nearly as good as free overflow. In short, I think auto-loading holster is great, and anyone telling you you're stupid for trying to get one with that perk is probably rocking a hard melee build, which is fine, but mind your own goddamn business. Other folks might be of the mindset that, well, if you're gonna go for a load Marty in your back pocket type deal, you're still dumb for taking auto-loading holster when you could get Envious Assassin. And again, I gotta disagree. I think Envious is fine. It does have the potential to overflow, which again is great, but I straight up think there's nothing wrong with the simplicity and straightforward effectiveness of auto-loading holster. I ain't saying it's the best perk in slot for column 3, by the way. I'm just saying people shitting all over it are dying on kind of a weird hill, and I don't totally agree. Here's another combo I'll likely be hunting for when this drops: Demolitionist and Desperate Measures. Let me explain. Demolitionist is really nice because of how often we can spam shots from the origin trait, meaning we're going to get a bunch of grenade energy. But the nice thing about Desperate Measures is that it works even when the weapon is stowed. According to Destiny Data Compendium, shout out to them, the extra damage from Desperate Measures scales by 10% for every stack, and we get these stacks from melee, grenade, and weapon kills. I think you see where I'm going with this. Get melee kills to overflow the mag, any kills will increase weapon damage, leading to more kills, and the ability to weave in some grenades as a little bonus trick. Lots of potential fun even in some higher end content, and a neat party trick to let you pop up to 3 grenade launcher shots back to back to back, in theory. For PvP, again, I don't really plan on using Marty in PvP, but if you want to, the only perk I'd really probably care to get would maybe maybe be threat detector. You know, for those moments where you want to fire off one wave frame shot, then quickly swap over to a primary weapon to finish off your weak target. Wave frames are very iffy in PvP these days. Not a ton of people use them, but if you want to be that guy, Lord knows I'm not going to stop you. If you trigger the origin trait, you could probably burn down some poor loser with 2 shots back to back, but again, not really my thing. You do you. Moving right along to our next weapon, this time a part of the new seasonal Vex Radiolaria set of weapons, we have Chronophage, a void trace rifle, the only other legendary in the game besides Hollow Denial. But a good set of perks and the ability to be crafted really helps this trace rifle shine compared to the Denial. For the first set of rolls, there's a pretty obvious trend with traces, and that is the absolute potential they have with Shoot to Loot. Just a really great perk. Lets you not only shoot ammo to pick it up, but it reloads all your weapons, even the ones in reserves. Trace rifles in particular can take good advantage of this perk with precision firing and really big magazines. Thankfully, Chronophage has some of the better perk companions to Shoot to Loot, noticeably Demolitionist and One for All. Demolitionist, again, very popular PvE perk that gives a little bonus for when we inevitably kill actual enemies with this trace rifle instead of using it to shoot ammo bricks. One for All is a good option for those who want to beam a little bit more aggressively, tag a few targets, and then hit that thrifty little plus 35% damage buff for 10 seconds. Very easy to proc One for All on a trace rifle, by the way. Chronophage will happily fit in as a niche utility trace that can pack a punch and do a bit of ad clear when needed. One thing in particular I like about Chronophage is its synergy with the Radiolaria Transposer origin trait. Rapid final blows cause targets to explode into a pool of Radiolarian fluid. If you combine that with the Logic Reductor mod on the seasonal artifact, now your Radiolaria pools will last longer and the weapon itself will do more damage to Vex. Nice. Basically, if you're doing any activity with a Void Surge or with a lot of Vex, Chronophage should just help you carve through everything no problem. I don't have my Chronophage craftable at the time of me writing this, but one perk combo I really want to take a crack at: Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds, aka the classic Void Ad Clear combo. As we all know, Repulsor Brace will give you a shield anytime you kill a Void debuffed target, and Destabilizing Rounds will cause volatile explosions on any target you kill, causing any nearby target to become volatile. In combination with the Radiolaria pools made by the origin trait, I'd love to see this combo ad clear an entire room and just coat the floor with Vex pools all at the same time. If you wanted to, you could even use something like Gerfalcons to cover for Destabilizing Rounds, provided you're playing a hunter, which would then allow you to instead run either Demo or Desperate Measures in column 4. Either way, there's definitely a good amount of potential, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this trace rifle plays in some of the more Void-centered builds out there. Straight up, I am not a trace rifle in PvP kind of guy, but Chrono may have potential. It technically is the only trace in the game capable of rolling Desperate Measures, which might be worth a try. Basically, play how you normally would, get a kill with your primary, then when that moment comes, whip out Chrono and burn people down with a little bit of extra damage buff. If you want to be a jerk, you can always be that guy who intentionally uses high ground in PvP. Granted, that perk is extremely map and playstyle dependent, but it could work. Just FYI though, I'm not legally responsible in any way for the type of post-game trash talk messages you're likely to get if you run high ground Chrono in PvP. Chronophage has one perk in particular that in my opinion means you should automatically throw it into the trash, and that would be Target Lock. Target Lock is very weapon dependent and used to be godly on certain SMGs in PvP. Target Lock on Chronophage will do little to nothing for you. According to the TTK calculator on D2 Foundry, Target Lock will only reduce your TTK if your enemy has 8 or 9 resil, and even then, it's only going to take it from 1 second flat to 0.93 seconds, aka shaving off 0.07 seconds. Fucking yeesh right there, boys. Basically a waste of a perk. Mags on trace rifles are way too big, and therefore Target Lock kicks in way too late. Avoid at all costs. And now we come to the final weapon, Speleologist. Oh, by the way, I am not going to be entertaining any discussions now or later about the correct pronunciation of that gun, but no matter. It is a rapid-fire frame solar machine gun. Overall, I think this rapid-fire machine gun might have some interesting uses and could maybe be fun to use. Now, before I mention any perk combos, I want to establish something right here, right now. Please, for the love of the Traveler, do not use Heal Clip on this gun. The fact that that perk exists on a machine gun is a straight up meme. Heal Clip is a perk intended to be used relatively constantly on weapons that have fast reload times, and machine guns have notoriously horrible reload times. Opting in on that role seems like borderline self-torture, and I promise you there are better options on the table. All right, now that we got that out of the way, If you want the equivalent of a solar retrofit escapade just to relive the golden days of machine gun DPS, you have that option. Envious Assassin and Target Lock can combine into a silly machine gun go burr situation that will let you dump into enemies for respectable damage. Step 1, get kills with other weapons to activate Envious. Step 2, whip out Speleologist, which should have an overflowed mag. And step 3, hold down the trigger and Target Lock melt some beefy yellow bar, ideally one lit up by a divinity cage. Now, even though that is an option, I'd rather use this machine gun for ad clear if nothing else. I know the idea of using your heavy on trash seems extremely dumb, and I do get that, but you could always use these on encounters or activities that have no boss, or in the event you can drop a rally flag before a boss fight, just go ahead and swap loadouts before DPS. Or if you're the group div bitch, and I say that respectfully by the way, you can use Speleologist to mow through trash and then just use Divinity on the boss. Easy. What I really want to try out in the ad clear department is Slideways and Killing Tally, which I know sounds kind of weird, but bear with me. According to the data compendium, Slideways will reload around 15% of your mag whenever you slide, with a short cooldown of around 3 seconds. On the other hand, Killing Tally will give you a stacking damage increase of 10% per kill with a maximum of 3 stacks. Those stacks will stay until you either reload or put away the gun, and those damage stacks won't be removed by activating Slideways. TLDR, keep maximum stacks of Killing Tally and bootleg reload the gun by sliding around nonstop. Speleologist can roll Incandescent in column 4, which is also a great mini ad clear option, especially if you have a Scorch themed build going on. Remember, it has great synergy with Radiolaria Transposer, and you can fill up any room quickly with both a lot of fire and Vex pools together. The only other perk that really catches my eye is Surrounded for some shenanigans with getting yourself into the middle of a pack of ads just to turn them into Radiolaria pools. This machine gun may not be too meta defining, but it does have some good combinations to let it shine and be fun in the right circumstances. Again, just please don't use heel clip. If I find out that you're using that, I will be under your bed tonight. Let me know what roles you're enjoying most down in the comment section, and stay tuned for Space Marines 2 content on the way later this week. Thanks for watching. Peace.